Just give up the ignorance. You don't have to learn a whole lot. All you have to learn is what not to say. If you can't learn what to say, learn what not to say. There is a solution to this problem. A person from the University of Northern Iowa several years ago came to Riceville and did an attitudinal survey with the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders to find out what their attitude toward people of color was, talking about racism. They did that same survey with us kids in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade in St. Ansgar, which is a school very comparable to the Riceville School. There's a professor from the University of Northern Iowa. He asked me if I would allow that to happen. I said, sure, that's a wonderful thing, go ahead. He asked both superintendents, and both superintendents said that. They couldn't see any harm in that. What he found out was, when they compiled the results, was that the kids in the Riceville, but the kids who had been through my class in the Riceville School were less racist in their attitudes, as measured by this survey, than were all the other kids in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. He said, what's important, however, is all the kids in the Riceville School were less racist in their attitudes, as measured by this survey, than were the kids in the comparable community. He said, what's happening here is your students, your former students' attitudes are rubbing off on their peers. He said, if we could educate a third of the population of the United States, because I had a third of the 3rd graders every year, if we could educate a third of the population in the United States, we could do away with racism in this country. Racism is a learned response. Nobody is born a racist. There is no gene for racism or sexism or ageism or homophobia or ethnocentrism. Those are all learned responses. Anything you learn, you can unlearn. So what we have to do is stop teaching those ugly things and start teaching the truth. In this Bible, it says, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set ye free. Can you imagine a country in which people are regarded as equally human by one another and as seen as members of the family of man instead of as members of different races? Do you know what we could do in this country if we taught that instead of teaching about differences as a negative? Differences are not negative. Skin color, length of your arms, length of your bones, your shape of your eyes are the result of your body's adaptation to the natural environment. It has nothing to do with being God's chosen children. It's time to get over this and start teaching the truth. We'd have a whole lot more time to teach the truth if we taught the truth. We need to do that. Education is the number one answer to these problems. Leading people out of ignorance is the number one answer to these problems. If my father could learn at 59 what he learned from watching those kids in that film, then so could all the rest of us.